Let's get salty!
Everyone, Zeddy here again today with a brand new video, and well, the unthinkable has happened. Well, actually, no, it's quite thinkable. It happens all the time. I was completely wrong, or at least it looks that way so far. We're gonna go through like a meta dive since the latest balance patch to see how everything has evolved, everything's shaping up, how the game is feeling, and then probably tomorrow we'll talk about possible balance changes and stuff like that, because we really haven't had time to talk about that since I got all sick and all that stuff. I am feeling a lot better. And also, we had 76,000 subscribers yesterday. So thank you everybody so much for your continued support. And well, if you feel like I've earned your subscription or you enjoy the content on the channel, still hit that sub button or like the videos. Helps us out a ton, as I guess we're on the road to 77K now. I guess, whatever. Thank you guys all so much. When I reviewed the patch notes on, on Tuesday there, was not exactly the happiest. I was pretty grumpy. I was still not feeling very well at all. But mainly there wasn't that many changes, and the one that had me the most worried was Blind Eye Sharpshooter going from 5 health to 3 health, and historically combo cards like this, a mana change is a lot more effective than a health change, but they felt at least confident, at least to start off trying adjusting its health and seeing how that went. And Paladin saw a change to Order in the Court losing its card draw and a bigger Jormonger getting nerfed, and I haven't seen this deck talked about since that change. But looking at HS replay across all ranks, I like how I always start here. I always say it's a horrible metric to look at, but it's always a good starting point, right? So if you look at the front page across all ranks, you actually see 6 classes right now in the green. 6 classes positive across all ranks. Of course, Paladin, it's like always #1, but not by much now. Druid, Shaman, Hunter, Mage, and Warrior, with Death Knight not too far behind, and the bottom 4 being Priest, Demon Hunter, which again wasn't like super high up to begin with, but has dropped significantly since the nerf, and Warlock and Rogue, which have both been struggling quite a bit this expansion. If we dive into the more refined statistics and take a look at the Legend ranking, since patch 28.3, get a bigger picture of what's going on. I like the Hunter mains are always complaining that Hunter's getting nerfed, and it's always like they have a bias against Hunter, yet Hunter's always like tier 1, tier 2. Got Arcane Hunter and Highlander Hunter, although I never see Highlander Hunter. Like, I wonder what the sample size is on it. It's 3,600 games, like it's significant. I just like never see it. But yeah, you have a Rage Warrior is like the best deck in the game. It's been that way for quite a while. Rainbow Mage is really shot up. Then when I did talk about the balance patch, I was like, man, leaving Warrior and Mage is a bit scary because I feel like they're going to be the clear outliers. And outside the Hunter stuff, yeah, Mage and Warrior are quite the clear outliers. So at least I got something right, you know? And then below that, you got the Mech Rogues, Dragon Druids, Highlander Shamans, the Treant Druids, the Aggro Paladin, like still there. You'll note Highlander Paladin. The slower Paladin decks got hurt a lot harder by the Order in the Court nerf than anything else, but a lot of diversity, at least in terms of what's going on tier 1, tier 2, and then like the more middling decks are like your mining mages, which is like Excavate combined with Sith Mage. You got Highlander Paladin, Showdown Paladin. They took a much bigger hit, like I said, but they're still playable decks. And at the lower end of the spectrum, you got Control Priest, which is anyone that upset to see Control Priest that low? But Ogre Rogue, Curse Warlock, Mining Warlock, Wishing Well Rogue just is not working. My Sludge Warlock, my Sludges down to the bottom. But you'll notice Aggro Demon Hunter, 47.82%. So that like the whole playstyle just drove a lot of people crazy. It has definitely gone down in win rate. If you look, I think if you take a look at, let's just say at the card itself, at Blind Eye Sharpshooter, how it's been performing since the nerf over the last whatever amount of time, you can see the deck win rate took a huge dive. And I gotta be like, I gotta admit, sorry, I'm over my words. I have to admit, I didn't think a health change would make that big a difference. Of course, I thought the win rate would lower, but I thought it'd be like by a couple of points, but it has made a big difference. But there is a bit of an upswing here where maybe it's just people have got to play it right. Maybe it's still being refined. Maybe the win rate will go up. But there's also the worry I have as this deck gets any more support is something that could put over the top and be frustrating. But I will say I'm happy to be wrong so far that it does appear that the sharpshooter nerf has been pretty darn significant. Even if we take a look, we'll look one more resource here at donkey.top, where like streamers and top players like to put their decks and all of that. You can see like the best performing ones at Diamond through Legend for this sharpshooter DH is like 52%, 52%, 50%. And we put this to like Legend, it falls off pretty hard where it's like only one is around 52%. It's not seeing a ton of play, which might lead me to believe that maybe it's again something that might get better when people go back to it, start tinkering with it more or whatever. So I'll just say right out the gate, at least I seem to be wrong. So that's really cool. And again, my argument for nerfing like a card like Sharpshooter for the mana is to play it safe, because it's such like an unhealthy archetype, such a frustrating archetype that mana changes have historically always shown to really effectively kill those type of decks. Will it be playable after? Probably not, but again, do you want that style to be playable outside of those few people that really want it? That's why, again, a lot of people were suggesting that on like Twitter or Reddit is just play it safe, knock it up by a mana, then we don't have to deal with this, garbage anymore. But thankfully, so far it has worked out. So again, kudos to the team. That's looking pretty good. However, how is the meta? Well, again, taking a look at the top ranks and all that, I do think it is pretty healthy in terms of like, there's a lot of different stuff to do. If you haven't been playing Hearthstone, I still recommend coming back or giving the meta a try, especially if you like playing Highlander decks. There's a lot of stuff to try, like Highlander Hunter, Highlander Shaman in particular, but even like Blood DK. There's Blood DK versions going around that have been doing well that are just Reno versions, and there's no Reno payoff card for Deathlight, so that's really cool. There is an issue though, and I will say there is one big issue for me in this meta, and we'll go probably a bit more into it tomorrow, where we start talking about potential balance changes and buffs, because I think we really do need buffs. Normally, I'm not a big advocate for buffs, but I feel like more right now we need buffs than we have in a while. But for me, it's kind of boring to face decks that we've been facing for so long. Every time I queue up Ladder, I've been facing a lot of Rainbow Mage in particular, which is a deck we have faced for a long time. It plays the very same style of way, where they just generate a bunch of cards, they clear your stuff, they stall with armor gain or solid alibis, and then they OTK you with Sif, right? Like, that strategy's been around for, quite some time now. And it's right up there, and same with Rage Warrior. You could say it like, I don't know how good this Arcane Warrior is, or Arcane Hunter is, but again, another samey strategy. Mech Road, pretty samey. Like, you do have new stuff in here, the Dragon Druids, the Highlander Shamans, but I just feel like it'd be nice to maybe dial back down some of these strategies that have just been popular for a long time, that have just been really present for a long time, which I think would help freshen things up as we await. Rotation will be coming probably late February, early March, the way things are looking. We probably have the mini set in January, which always ruins things, not really helps things, but ruins things. So we do have like stuff coming up. But with the next balance patch, I do think the meta, although not terrible, and again, I definitely recommend it, I would say it would be nice to kind of freshen up kind of these stale archetypes we have seen for quite some time. So I'd like to hear what you guys have to think about the current meta. Are you enjoying it? Are you disliking it? Personally, I'm totally fine with it. I'm very happy that the Sharpshooter DH seems to be like, so I haven't faced it myself since the nerf, so that's great. And most of the decks I'm facing are, Hearthstone strategies. For me, Sith Mage even falls in that line, like it's a later OTK. I'm just kind of bored of facing it all the time. That's the only thing. But overall, Hearthstone feels like Hearthstone right now. There's always frustrations with everything, but I feel like it's in a pretty decent spot, and the latest balance patch seems to have had more impact than I thought it would, and I'm really happy to see that. So, although I do see a lot of comments about Paladin still being too good, but the numbers show Paladin's not that crazy. Anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day, and stay salty, my friends.